Everyone, this is Jessica Luther. I just wanted to pop on here and give you a quick peek. Well, quick, I'm not sure. That's a relative term. I will try to keep it concise, but I have no idea how long this is going to take. There's a couple things I want to address and I want to kind of show you and mention while also giving you a look inside of my 2025 Canva file for December stories. I document the entire month of December plus a little bit of what happens before December. So it is not a particular number of stories. The stories are not numbered per se. They are just documented in a somewhat, if possible, chronological fashion. Okay, so I'm using a 10 by 8 album. And so you can see that my file here has many pages. I think counting all the pages that have actual printed pieces for the album, I'm at 120. That is big. That's a pretty thick album. So because I don't do any real like dimensional layering or physical embellishments, I don't have any plans for it anyways in this particular album. I don't feel like 120 is going to make or break one particular album. It is definitely going to be thick though, with approximately 60 page protectors. That's what that equals out to. But they should be pretty thin. So it should all fit into one album. I have my fingers crossed. So what you're looking at here is a 10 by 8 file with over 100 pages in it. I do a full page layout as well as anything smaller than a page layout I do on the 10 by 8 size, just to make sure that I can see what the album is going to look like in flow. I can account for everything. And there's also some extra random things in here. So let's just be clear. This is very much a in progress file. I'm still working on a lot of these pages. I have the majority of my photos dropped in and the majority of the stories are accounted for. I think I haven't cross-checked my Dropbox folder just to double check everything, but I think I've accounted for everything here. So, all right, let's see a couple things before we actually get started. This is the overview of what the album looks like. At the bottom of the album here, you see it's still populating. Here we go. Connection is a little bit slow this morning. It's kind of windy here. Down here in pages 125 and on, for probably about 10, 11, 12 pages, you'll see just random things that I've dropped in. So anytime I start a project like this, I go through and I collect pattern papers or digital elements that I may want to use in the particular album. Things like this, like I think I shared already in the Scrapbook Canva group. So I'm just kind of building myself a, gosh, what would I call this? Almost like a theme or a mood board for this album. Now you see 2 screenshots right here. This is from Allie's, one of Allie's pages that she did. I really like this little present word phrase strip layering cluster. And I wanted to refer back to that for something. And then I also really liked this is a lady from, I feel like she is in, oh goodness, I don't have my phone with me. She is well known in the scrapbooking community online. I think she's in Australia. She did this, and I was really inspired by the way that she built this little tree tag or tag tree. And so I screenshotted this and dropped this in as some inspiration. I haven't done anything like this in my album. However, I did do the little present cluster, which you will see on one of my pages. Excuse me, that dirty cough is lingering and will make an appearance a couple times, but at least I feel like I can get some talking out in between coughing sessions. So apologies in advance for that. But yeah, so this is just kind of some ideas right here. This is some artwork that I knew that I might want. And so I threw this on this page. So this is just an area where I have gathered some stuff in advance so that I don't have to go looking about while trying to be creative and working on the particular album. So the other things that you're going to see down here are pages that I have messed with, pages I have tried out and pages I have not chosen. But because I already did the work for them, I didn't want to write them off completely. Like maybe this little wreath layout right here didn't work for our little family photos, but maybe I would use it for a different story. So instead of creating this page and then deciding that, oh no, this is not what I want to do, and deleting it or undoing it all, I just move it down to the bottom and I start again. And then I keep all of those pages down here at the bottom for referencing. You'll also see down here that there's a couple of variations on my title page, some things that I tried, some things that I thought I was going to go with, and some things that I have changed. So let's go ahead and go to the top. Once I have done lots and lots of work in this album and kind of established a couple of pieces that I refer back to and I use on repeat throughout the album, I decided to change up my title page. So you may have seen that I posted, and I think that, here we go. This was going to be my introduction page, my title page for the album. These are some elements that I had started working with in the early creation of this album. I was kind of going back and forth between these two right here. But once I really got into the album and I was using some of the other products, I really felt like I needed to tweak that title page a little bit. I didn't feel like style wise, art wise, it was really that representative of the entire album as a whole. And the other thing that pushed me over the edge was that to create these, this little series of pages, this is using the circle die cut piece from the die cut insert pack from this year. I purchased the die cut pack, and the die cut pack came with this giant 2025. And so I decided to redesign my title page around some of the other elements that I have been using on repeat and working in the 2025 big die cut numbers. So when I actually print this page, I'm not going to print it with the 2025, and the Life with the Luthers at Christmas time will also not print on this sheet. So this page will actually print. Let's see, let's get rid of these things. This page will print like this, and then it will get slipped into a page protector, and the 2025 die cut will be in the 3-ring binder laying on top of it with this Life with the Luthers hand cut out and attached to the top. Now, something I have considered and I haven't decided yet because we're just not to that point yet, is that I might trim off, and you see this, the 2025 comes with this hole punch kind of attacher area. I might cut that off and I might glue this entire thing right onto this page. And so, yes, it will be layered paper. It will not flip up independently. It will be attached to this printed page and slid into the page protector. So when you view this, it will view like this as one piece in a page protector, and then you'll turn the page to reveal, the next page, which will be this guy. So I haven't decided that yet. I am going to print it like this, and when I get both pieces in my hand, I will decide if I'm going to keep them separate or if I'm going to merge them together. Okay, so something else I want to kind of bring up to you is let's pop on over to my homepage of my Canva account. I'm a pro Canva user, so that means that I can save folders. And I have to tell you that having folders available to organize all of my stuff, whether it be my digital supplies or my photos or my projects, is life-changing. There's no way I'd want to work in Canva and produce the amount of content that I produce in Canva without being able to organize it. It's just, that's crazy. Anyway, so we're going here to projects. So that was the homepage. This is projects. One of the first things that I did was I loaded everything, my art, into this December art files folder. And as you can see here, there are folders inside of this folder, and it's kind of hit and miss how I name them, but for this particular year, I did DD 2025 AED collection. That's Allie Edwards Design Collection. Okay, so I dropped in a couple of the main kit items right here. Oh, I'm sorry, these aren't main kit items. These are album cover art and the the word phrase sticker sheets are right here. The main kit does have its own folder right here. So we're going to open that up. And then within this folder, I did make some more folders just to kind of keep like items together, like the die cut phrases. Those are all saved into one folder. But the overall main kit folder has a lot of the just big pieces, things that aren't repetitive, things that just are quickly gone through and easily found. So this is how I organized all of the digital files that I have for this year's collection from Allie Edwards. You can see it is pretty much if you buy the item as a shop item or you buy the item and it comes as one download, that is how I create the folder. So there's one folder for the Fa La La stamps. It includes the preview image as the very first image you drop into the folder so that it is what you see on the little folder icon. And then everything else is dropped in behind it. So let's see here. All right, that's what I wanted to show you about that. And then let's go back out to projects. The other thing that I've gotten in the habit of doing whenever I'm doing big projects in Canva is creating photo folders, because I keep and organize all of my photos in Dropbox. And so they are categorized by year. And then in each year folder, there's a folder for like, maybe it is a trip, or maybe it is family photos from that year, or maybe it is like a special adventure that's just got way too many photos. Excuse me. So what was happening was I was linking up Dropbox to my projects and then I was accessing it, but then I would have a connectivity issue and then it would drop it. And I was having a really, really hard time consistently, easily being able to access my photos. So what I started doing a while ago, you can see that I've got a ton of folders in here with photos, is I created a folder for the photos I'm using for the project. So I made a 2025 December and then parentheses Christmas time, because it's not just December. And in here, I've got all the photos that I could use. Not going to use all these because there's like over 200. But these are all the photos I could use from this Christmas time documenting period. So there's a ton of, variations. Like some photos have a color version and a black and white version. All of these photos have been edited in Photoshop before I put them into this folder. So once they went into this folder, I knew that they were ready to go into my Canva file. Okay. So I put all those in here. And then there are some that I created folders for. So this folder is 2025 year highlights. I plan on doing a page at the end of my album that is just like, hey, thanks 2025 for all the memories. These are the photos that I've gathered from my just general project life album, my photo album in Dropbox that I may want to use. I might not want to use these. Who knows? I only have like 20 spots, and I think there's more than 20 photos in here. So this is just a quick look at last year, and obviously it was consumed by puppies. Our dog got pregnant, and she had 9 puppies, and it was unexpected and wild and crazy. And here we are. All right, so let's see. I also made folders for 3 other events that happened in December, just because the SCDS holiday party, that's the company I work for, the Sacramento District Dental Society. We put on a holiday party for our members. There were 39 photos that I edited for that particular event. I'm not going to use them all, but I wanted to group them together. So I made a folder for them. The Polar Express, we did a little adventure this year, first time ever. It was super fun. There are 50 images in that folder. I'm not going to use all 50 of them, but I want them all like housed together so that when I'm looking at all of them to try to decide what I'm actually going to put on the page, they are all right here and all available to me. I can pick and choose more easily. I can see these are just the photos from that particular adventure, and it makes making that page a lot easier for myself. So those are the couple of things that I did kind of in advance of really ever building pages in my particular album, in my file. Okay. So let's see, I have to close something to access this. All right, here we go. So let's talk about this. I'm going to go through kind of page by page. I'm not going to spend a ton of time. If there's something you see that you want to know a little bit more about, please, include that in the comments, and I will see if I can either create a little video tutorial to show you how I did something, or I will just answer with words. All right, so this is my cover page. I already explained how that's going to be printed. This guy right here is my introduction page. This right here is not going to be printed on this page. This is going to be printed separately. I've got some parts and pieces, pictures of my kiddos, my reason why for this year, and this piece right here, and a little backer right here. These items are going to get printed individually, separately, and they are going to be put into a 3x4 page protector that I've cut apart from a page protector sheet. And I'm going to attach that onto the outside of this 10x8 page protector, and everything's going to go inside. There's going to be like little tabs right here, so you can like pull out the reason why, pull out the photos, and look at them. Okay, it's a really good way to add a lot of stuff to the page, still keep the design nice and clean, and still keep your page to one page. Okay, so it's just also something different. I like using the little 3x4 page protector on top of the page protector. It makes for a fun layered kind of feel. All right, so those are parts and pieces. This is going to be a facing page for that, and I've got a little message to December, about December. It's kind of more of a looking back at December. Now that I've lived December, I'm going to type that up right here. It's currently still living in my mind. All right, so this page right here, let's zoom in a little bit so it's a little bit more clear as to what we're looking at. This Holly Jolly page is just kind of the introduction to the stories. I also just needed a filler page. I didn't want to put a big photo right here. I wanted there to be some type of like really graphic Christmas themed art page, and this worked perfect. It also kind of introduces the use of this little tag, I forget what she calls this, a banner, and how I use her Allie Edwards scripty words, handwritten words in gold or sometimes red on top of this. So this is kind of like establishing a look and feel that gets repeated throughout. I use a lot of the Fa La La washi tape. I use the Fa La La background paper. You'll see a lot of the patterns used over and over and over again. Okay, so this is totally an inspiration from one of Allie's pages. I think it was maybe day 3 or maybe day 4. You can check it out on the blog. She used 2 of these circle inserts, and she just compiled some stories or memories from, I think, a trip that she took to her parents around Thanksgiving. And I really liked that. I thought it was a really great way to introduce this season. These are just random things, little tiny micro stories that I wanted to include, but didn't really need to give them a ton of space. So that is going to face this page right here, just kind of rounding out one of the stories touched on right here. But you can see this picture was actually taken on the day that I decorated the Christmas tree. So this technically could be a tree decorating picture, but I'm using it because it's focusing on these gem art ornaments that my daughter made, which you can kind of see her making in some of these pre-December photos. So I thought that it worked really well. Okay, full page photo. You can see I'm utilizing the same circle text stamp design here, and I'm combining it with the label tag. This label tag setup right here is actually 2 label tag stamps put together and kind of like cropped and closed off and layered to create a label that is longer for more journaling. So that's that. Okay. And now we start going into the 4x4, 4x6 page protector. A lot of my photos get printed just by themselves. They don't get any embellishments put on them, but I do print them with a white border so that they look a little bit more finished whenever they go into the album. And here is another established, repeated journaling element that you're going to see throughout the entire album, just used on repeat. Okay. This is backside of that 4x4, 4x6. Excuse me. Things that really got me excited that were community related, class related for the season. This is one of the filler pages that I would I would consider able to be placed anywhere. It's just a look back at our first Christmas was these two little babies, and our current Christmas with these not so babies anymore. I actually showed them this picture and was like, hey, you guys, could you you want to recreate this? And I even told my daughter, if you want to hold his head like you're holding his head in here, and well, clearly she chose not to hold his head. But anyway, so I showed them this picture, asked them to recreate it. They were both thrilled to recreate it for me. I think this is such a fun thing to include in this album. I just love this so much. But this particular page does not belong anywhere. It just needs to go in the album. So it was great to put adjacent these. And it's a great way to kind of get the ball rolling with the things that are happening this December. Okay, good filler page to have. Okay, this particular page, this is the back side of this 10 by 8. I have a lot to say. It faces this page right here, also 10 by 8. I have a lot to say about these little 9 pictures right here. And before I added this, it was not all going to fit right there. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to do a 3x4, and I've made myself a note right here. Use a 3x4 pocket on the outside. If journaling is too long for this space. Journaling is totally going to be too long for that space. So I plan to print this out as a 3x4, attach a 3x4 page protector pocket, very similar to the way I told you already I'm going to do on that family photo page. I'm going to attach it right here, and I'm just going to print however many pages on regular copy paper, lightweight 20-pound bond, with my numbering of like what is the significance to these photos right here, things that happened in the office in the month of December. One of my coworkers for the last 9 years is retiring. Well, she retired actually at the end of December, and so we did a couple extra sentimental things in the office, and I want to make note of them. So that's what that little note is. I like making notes to myself because I have ideas randomly, and then I don't actually get to make those ideas a reality for a little while. So I need to know what my plan was. All right, so that's going to go there. This is the back of this. And again, you can see this is a repeated element that is going to be popping up here and there on top of photos, on top of journaling. Okay, this is tree decorating. I haven't dropped in the photos for this. Tree decorating is going to be on one side of a 4x4, 4x6, and the other side of the 4x4, 4x6 is going to be my son participating in the school, walking in the local Christmas parade. And I don't have a ton of photos because he really did not want his photo taken. So anyway, short story on that. This is the collected joys page that I shared in the group recently. It's a 10 by 8 adjacent a 4x6, 4x4 page. And backside of that is going to be the advent calendar for my son. I don't have a ton of journaling, but I do have a little bit of storytelling as to why I have no pictures of him actually opening up his advent calendar any of the 25 days during December. And so I'm going to include that right here. I just haven't actually picked out which journaling card I'm going to use. I am more than likely just going to go find that circle one with the little star with the typewriter text at the top, whether it says like magic or story or jolly or fa la la or whatever, and use something I've already used, but make it different. Okay. So that's the whole idea, is using the same things over and over again, but changing them slightly each time, or having a handful of variations so that as you go through the album, you're seeing repeated things and it's lending itself to a very cohesive look. Okay, so this right here is going to go into a 6x8 page protector. I wrote that as a note right here. I also think that maybe I want to attach a 3x8 transparency to the outside of it. Maybe I want to print this as a 6x8, add the 3x8 transparency, and then slip it into a page protector. I'm really not sure, but this is going to get printed as one 6x8, not as 3 separate pieces for a pocket. The reason being is that this page right here was not designed. It was designed as a 6x8, not as a 3 pocket photo piece. I hope that makes sense. My brain is a little fuzzy right now. And there's that little present cluster that I was inspired to make. I thought this was fun because these 2 girls had a birthday party, and so gifts, birthday, something we always do in the month of December, but their birthday is actually in November. All right, so another pocket page. This is going to be facing this page. We got 4x6, 4x4 pockets. There isn't a ton of text I want to include with this particular thing. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's a book. You open a chapter every day. You read the chapter. You get to Christmas. I didn't watch her or take photos of her rip. Well, I did watch her rip apart the chapters, those first couple chapters, and it was fun seeing her do that. But I don't really have too much. I feel like I have to write about it. So it's a very simple page report on this year's Advent calendar evolution. I also did a little something extra for her Advent this year because she was doing an Advent book. I still wanted her to open something. And so I chose to do 12 days of bookmarks and made these fun little pouches using this year's collection of papers, and did this little hanging setup on my door to my garage. And I just loved seeing this as we were at the dining room table or in the kitchen or any part of the house. It was super fun. It was actually made me kind of sad when these envelopes started getting opened and they started disappearing from the back of the door. All right, so half circle insert. I sized it down right here just so I could see all the pieces, but that's not the actual size. This is the actual size right here. This is just placeholder story. I'm really not sure that I'm actually going to do this. I don't know. I'm not loving it. I want to include the story of the wreath. I don't know. I'm not inspired at all to finish this or do anything with it. This is what the back of that bookmark advent calendar that we just saw up here. Total side note, this is not scrapbooking related, but fun little tidbit. So after Abby opened up her 12 days of bookmarks, I replaced all of those little things with our Christmas cards over the years. So every year I put these out because I just love seeing the progression of our little family and the different ways that we've done Christmas cards and the different photos that we've used over the years. So my husband and I have been married longer than Abigail's been alive, but I started with the very first Christmas card that we sent out when Abigail was born in 2011. So that was super fun to have on that door, and I want to document that somehow. I just don't know if this is the way I'm going to do it. I don't know. We'll see. All right, this is another fun filler page. It can be placed anywhere. It is not done yet. I don't know what's happening in the center here. I want to make something that references, how much taller these two kiddos are since they made these growth charts. If you've been following along in my December Stories albums for the past, I don't know, however many years, 5 years or so, you will have seen these growth charts pop up year after year. It may have been the very first year when they received them, and that's when I put them in there, or it may be a page like this where I do a height update. So I'm not sure how this is going to go, but this is a fun filler page. I needed a back side or a front side to this 10x8 that I'm going to drop in, and that was kind of the perfect thing to put there. I could have also done another one of those like Holly Jolly graphic pattern paper pages, which you can totally do. I just had photos, and so I made something with photos. This page is not finished. I think I mentioned that. All right, so a while back, you may have seen that I created these holiday checklists for my kiddos to fill out. And so I created a holiday checklist for Abby, a this or that edition, holiday edition for Abigail. And I did the same thing for Ethan. I printed these things ahead of time. They were both given to them on, I think, December 1st. And they went to town. They just started checking things off. And so what I did to document some of the things they checked off, not with photos, I do say on here, during complete all the tasks listed below during December and provide photographic proof for as many as possible. Yeah, that didn't really happen. Abigail took no photos of anything, which was fine. And Ethan just asked me to take a couple photos, which I really didn't, I could leave or take. It really didn't matter. But what I decided to do was create this page for each one of them. They each have a page like this. And I notated what the actual topic was. And that's from the holiday list right here. So watch a holiday movie. So then let's see, watched would be that section. And Abigail watched, these two movies, and they were watched at school. So I included some story, and not Abigail. Abigail and Ethan didn't have the same exact things to report on. I didn't report both of their ornament pickings or both of their handmade gifts. Some of them I did. Some of them are duplicates, definitely, but some of them are different. And because of the age difference and the school difference and just the differences in kids, the things that they did and how they checked off the different items on the list. I just love how this page turned out. It's a great reference. And so this page is going to face this page. This page is going to face the holiday checklist. And then whenever you open up the holiday checklist, on the back of the holiday checklist, it's going to be this photo of Abigail. So this is going to be hole punched right here. It's going to be on the back side of this. And then it is going to face the this or that page right here. So you're going to see all of Abigail's stuff first. And then whenever you turn the page to the this or that, you're going to see Ethan's this or that. And they've, circled their this or that stuff, which I absolutely love having. Totally going to do this again. And next year I'm going to do it for my husband and I as well. And then Ethan's this or that is going to face this picture of Ethan. And then when you turn Ethan's page, it's kind of complicated. I hope you're holding on for this. You're going to see the holiday checklist for Ethan. And each of these items are going to have little tabs to make it, a little bit more visually indicative that like, hey, there's more stuff here. It's kind of like a little booklet. And then the whole section is going to be closed out with a 10x8 of Ethan's stuff. And so they both have this merry moments in the making with a little description of how they tackled this or how they handled it. They each have, some filler card areas, which I may or may not add any physical embellishments to, like a word phrase strip or a little physical star or something. And then they also have a little star that has the number of their age currently. So hers up here says 14 and his says, his says 9. All right. So then that's a 10x8. We need to back that with a 10x8. So then that starts in on our Polar Express adventure. Here is that 3 frame labels kind of stuck together to make one large frame label to make it a little bit longer for the story that I need to tell. Again, I have a 6x8. This believe, let's check this out. Do you see how the scallops is bow and this believe might look familiar because I did something similar up here in the very, very beginning on this page with December scallop little bow. Okay, so I'm going to try one more spot because I really like 3s. I'm going to try to have that kind of style duplicated again somewhere in here. I don't know where, but somewhere. Because I think that style is fun and it's repetitive. I need it to be repeated one more time. All right. 6x8 just tells me, hey, this is going to be printed as a 6x8. This is going to be one of those 6 up 3x4s. I'm going to print this picture as a 4x6 and just cut it in half and stick it one in one side and one in the other side, just so that it spans and I don't have to pick a good spot to crop. I can get the whole picture. I'm just going to go on this side. I still have my journaling to apply here or create some little graphic spots for those 3x4s. I still have no clue what I'm doing with this 4x6, but I do want to include this little photo of Ethan who fell asleep on my lap during the train, or maybe he wasn't really asleep. I don't remember. This definitely still needs to be addressed because it's clearly not finished. Same thing here. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I have to do a 4x6. Okay, so this right here is going to be one of those 2 up 3x4 things. So these are going to be back to back, back to back. And it's just going to be inserted after this 4x6 page protector, but before this 10x8 page protector. Sometimes whenever I'm playing around with pieces, I just drop them on the side and I might do something right here with collected joys or December delights or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so 10x8 needs to back up to a 10x8. I may still add like a little strip with, that little banner phrase thing with a gold handwritten something. I may or may not. I don't know. So here's a picture of the mall. I always love the mall at Christmas time, and some story about my daughter and I going shopping again. So I included this right here is the Collected Joys heart. Oh, you can see it right up here. Okay, so Collected Joys heart little 4x4 card. I really like the idea of repeating things like I have mentioned. And so I decided to create a December delights one. I'm not sure if it's finalized yet. I don't know if I like this little starburst up here. I might add something different, but I'm going to add this again in another spot as well as right here. It's a good filler spot, filler card. Still going to add some story. This is still very much a work in progress. This is a 6x8 photo. Back to this 6x8 photo. It'll end with this 10x8 photo. This is the ornament that we bought when we were at the mall shopping. Okay, so a 10 by 8, back to another 10 by 8, probably one of my favorite photos from the season. It just really represents what was happening. Abigail over here wearing her ankle braces that she's been having to wear recently, rocking her headphones, listening to some white noise to drown out her brother while she reads her advent calendar. We had some trouble with our star this year, Ethan being super independent, wanting to stand on his own and take care of the star. It didn't really happen. He wasn't able to get it up there by himself, but that's okay. All of that story will be in my journaling. I just really love this photo. Using that 6 up 3 by 4 spots for journaling, spots for, you know, some type of little embellishment card. Still very much working on this page. All right, so here's another thing that I've established that I need to repeat somewhere, and that's the use of this striped paper. I really like how these little 3 by 4 cards turn out. We have 3 houses that we decorate each year. My 3 family members, we all live on the same street. Nick and I kind of live in the middle. His mom is on one side of us, and then 2 houses down are my parents. So we hang lights at all the houses. And I need to finish my journaling for our house and for my mother-in-law's house. I have a little bit of storytelling I need to do for those. But to tie this in with this other photo, I use that stripe paper in the little frame right there, duplicated the little star. And again, I'm using that tag banner thing, whatever we want to call that, on top of a photo. So 10 by 8 facing this 6 up 3 by 4 cards. But like I said, I want to use this striped paper again somewhere in the album so that it appears on not just one page. Okay, this is going to be, this is, okay, that's a photo. I'm not quite sure why it's not showing right now, but it's not showing. And then this is a blank spot because again, this is very much a work in progress page, but that's a 10 by 8 page adjacent a 6 up page protector. I really just love this page protector configuration. Still very much figuring out which photos I'm going to use, how I'm going to use them, and what else I'm going to put in those pockets. This blank page right here indicates the fact that this is possibly, oh, no, it should actually be fine. I'm going to delete this. So because if I end the holiday party on a 10 by 8 page, then that's going to back up to this 10 by 8 page of Santa, which is not finished. I need to do something over here, but I do have all the text for my story and I do have the photo in the kind of layout I want. It's going to face this 4 by 4, 4 by 6 page protector configuration. Again, repeating this thing on a photo, repeating this 4 by 4 journaling area. This time it just has multiple pattern pages because I just couldn't decide and I wanted more. Okay, so that backs up to this right here. Excuse me. And okay, so here we go. This is a spot where I'm just kind of undecided. I'm not really quite sure what's going to happen here. So this is the left-hand page in the album. 4 up, 4 by 6s, 4 by 4s, journaling. The colors are very unique. Okay, they're not their traditional colors. They're very like pink and blue and purple, and they're not going to look great with everything. But it happened the weekend before the last week of school. And during the last week of school, there were lots of activities in between the kids' different classes. Ethan had an emergency trip to the dentist. We had a canceled dance. We had, there was just stuff was happening every day on the last week of school. Plus my husband and I were both working and we were juggling and balancing and still living life. So I decided to do, let's zoom out a little bit so we can see a little bit more. There is going to be an insert between the left-hand page of this, and then the right-hand page is going to be this. This is a filler 10 by 8 photo of my parents at a holiday party that they sent to me. But there's going to be a 4 up, 3 by 4 page protector in between these things. And there's also going to be a just oddly sized outside the page protector. I'm going to stick it in with a page attacher into the album. I'm not quite sure exactly how I'm going to handle this yet because as you can see, there is more text that will fit on this than that will fit on this 3 by 4. I need to do some reformatting, but of course on Monday, there's a tiny bit of text. I need to write a little bit more. So this I'm still kind of messing around with, but these are going to be printed as 3 by 4s. This is going to be printed as an outside the page protector, just random. It looks like it is 6 inches wide by like 4 7/8. And it's going to back up to this right here. And then it is either going to go before this, or maybe there's going to be 2 page protectors of this configuration and this is going to go between it, which means that I need to figure out some filler cards. I don't really know. This is still very much in my brain. I haven't figured it out. So moving on. All right, 10x8 filler. This could have gone anywhere, but it works out right there. Okay, we have a 10x8 page printout right here. It's not completely finished, but most of the parts and pieces are there. This is my son's winter performance. I included some lyrics from the one of my favorite songs that they performed, as well as the QR code to watch the entire performance. Backs up to a 10x8 of my daughter wrapping presents. We have this really old-fashioned linoleum in our house still that is very like yellow orange in color, and it's just awful. So too much of it is just not a great thing. So I did turn this into a black and white photo because it's also super busy. You see all the cabinets, which also have like a reddish orange tint to them. You got all my bags over here all piled up, and this like pile of paperwork in this chair over here. Like it's just a very cluttered, messy real life photo. Plus, I just really like the way a black and white photo looks, so I turned it to black and white. We've got the insert that has a 2 up 3x4s with the 1 4x6, and that's going to go back to back in this little sandwiched area. It's going to end, the story is going to end with a 4x4, 4x6 little page protector. I need to write the story here, but you can see this is the same kind of card styling that I've used before. I might swap out the page patterns, the pattern papers, or I might not. I don't know. This is going to back up to the other side of that, making checks mix. And then I had a big open blank 10x8. So I created something similar to the Holly Jolly page using this Marion Bright paper, and just a different kind of configuration with this December stuffs and words. Excuse me. All right, moving right along here, we've got, okay, my album's going to open a little bit too long because do you see how the image right here is the image number and like images are dropping out? So let me refresh my page, my file, and it's going to put us here, and then we will navigate our way back to where we were and finish this up. Okay, got to get it loaded. All right, I think we were right here. Okay, not too much further, but we have a 10x8 right here, which backs up to this 10x8. So this is the left-hand side 10x8. It's got a 4 up 3x4 page protector here. I still have some finishing touches to do here. It's got some photos right here. It's got, this is my coworker who is retiring, this lovely white-haired lady right here. And I decided to, we had a little retirement kind of going away party for her at a winery at one of our lunches right before Christmas time. And so I decided to do a collage of photos of she and I and the other ladies we've worked with over the years to kind of round that out. So that's what this is. So that's going to back up to a 10x8. Now here's where it starts getting very, very unknown. Okay. Because this is right before Christmas. This is the day before Christmas Eve. Okay. So I played with AI. I put in a photo of my dogs, my puppies who don't live in the house because they're badly behaved and not potty trained. So they live outside and hang out in the garage most days. So I asked AI to create a photo because this photo is of my garage and it's not lovely and it's cold and dark looking. And there's, equipment in the background, like I don't know, power washer and storage boxes. So anyway, AI is amazing. And I told it to create me a cozy room with Christmas tree and lights in a illustrative style, and boom, I got this. I also did 6 or 8 other photos. So I don't really know how I'm going to document that, but I am going to include some of those AI photos of my little pups right here. That's going to back up to my son and I making Christmas cookies or sugar cookies to decorate on Christmas Eve. I don't know how this is going to turn out. All the photos are edited, but I don't have a layout for them. So I've just dropped this in. I've assigned 2 pages and I'll figure it out. That's where we're at right here. Okay. So I know I need to document sugar cookie decorating day with the family. So I've added a couple pages, threw in a photo just to remind myself that that's what we're doing here. Okay. Kids hanging out at the house after sugar cookie decorating. That's coming next. Christmas Eve at my parents' house. That's next after that. This is a blurry photo. Okay, let's look at this. This photo is incredibly imperfect. Okay, my daughter's hands are blurry. My son is blurry. My mom's bag is blurry. But what's happening here is my kids are playing basketball with grandma with their wrapping paper and they're having a great time. And there are 3 facial expressions right here that I never want to forget. So I am absolutely including this photo in this album and it's going to be big and it's going to be it's going to be big. It's going to be just like this 10 by 8. I'm going to do it imperfect in all its glory. Okay. But so now I know Christmas Eve with my parents needs to go next. The next thing is actually Christmas Eve at our house. What did the living room look like when I went to bed? You know, when Santa came. Okay. I know I want to use this. I want to use this. I don't know what else is going to happen. All right. Christmas morning at my house. I took 0 photos of the kids unwrapping presents. It was amazing. It was probably the most relaxing, fun, enjoyable Christmas morning I can remember having. It was amazing. We're going to do it again next year. But I do have some stories to tell. It starts off with a 10 by 8, which is taken hours after we've woken up and hours after they open presents. And the living room is even clean again after it happened. We got some journaling to be included. Some of it's finished, some of it's not. And then there are some later afternoon photos, and I'm going to do a little filler card right here. Okay. And then, so this is kind of 3 photos in a series of Ethan using his new favorite tool, which is a Spider-Man web shooter. If you have a Spider-Man lover in your life, I highly recommend you get this. It shoots a suction cup on a string. And so, yes, he is shooting the front window of our living room, and he thinks it is the absolute best thing in the world. My dog is not thrilled about it. My daughter doesn't really care, but you can see the string is attached to the front window. It was amazing. Anyway, it's his favorite present, and I will talk a little bit about that when I do the journaling. All right, next thing is Christmas dinner / celebration family time at my parents' house. I have all the photos laid out. I just do not have my journaling plugged in. Okay. But I know what's happening. I know where it's going. I just need to put in my journaling and all of that stuff. Okay. Now let's see. That ends that. And then we go into the week after Christmas, the week between Christmas and New Year's. 10 by 8. I love this 6 up 3 by 4. It's amazing. And ends with a 10 by 8. Then we attended a wedding. 10 by 8. Again, I just have the photos in here. I haven't actually transferred the journaling. I don't have any artwork on this page. This is going to be one of those 3-up citrus twist page protectors. I think they were made for the traveler's notebook. But these photos are very low res. My husband took them outside while they were having their professional photos taken. So he was using the like zoom on his phone camera. So pixelation aplenty, but I still want them in the album so that we can see our beautiful bride and her family from the wedding that we attended. So I just chose to print them small. Okay, so that's going to go in there like that. It's going to end with a 10 by 8 photo collage from the wedding. We've got a trip to the river with our 3 dogs, and that's going to be 10 by 8, 4 by 4, 4 by 6 page protector configuration. Still have to drop in the photos and the stories. Ends with a 10 by 8. And the very last page of the year, we are going to have a 10 by 8, and this is going to address the couple of things that happened on New Year's Eve. Both of the puppies were fixed, so they get to wear these lovely little cones. They're actually still wearing them today. They get to wear them for a whole nother week. It's just fantastic. My van went into the shop. We had some repairs done on it. I'm going to talk about what we did in the daytime, what we did in the evening time, who made it to midnight, nobody, and a couple of photos. This whole centerpiece just still needs to be reconfigured. I'd like to make the framework, but I don't really think it's going to. So anyway, we'll get back to that. And then adjacent this page is going to be that photo collage page that I talked about that is going to have photos from this year for my highlights photo folder. And I did something similar to this last year. I believe Freckle Pickle, which is Lisa Varshine on Instagram, she did it and it was fantastic. I love it. I will probably always now moving forward have a photo recap page in my December daily albums. I just think it's amazing. And then so on the back, so this is gonna be the right-hand side. And then so the back side of this page is going to be the very last page in the album, left-hand side, 10 by 8 page protector. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it's this is going to be in the middle of the page with a beautiful pattern. I don't know. Could use both of these. I took down all my Christmas stuff the second day of the year. I don't know if it's really appropriate to put here. So that is my not so quick walkthrough look at my current Canva file for my 2025 December Stories album. Like I said in the beginning, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. If you saw something that you were interested in knowing more about, if I can help with that, I would absolutely love to do that. So in the meantime, thank you so much for hanging out this entire time with me. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you in the group soon.